On June 15, 1991, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines erupted. Ash and rock were blasted high into the atmosphere. Pyroclastic flows, deadly rivers of hot gas and debris, raced down the mountain slopes. The eruption had a devastating impact on the surrounding region. Thousands of people were displaced from their homes. The U.S. military, with a significant presence in the Philippines, faced a major challenge. They had a duty to protect both American lives and the Filipino people. The United States Marines stationed at Subic Bay Naval Base and Clark Air Base were among the first responders. These bases were close to Mount Pinatubo. The Marines immediately took action. They began preparing for rescue and evacuation operations. The situation was dangerous and chaotic. The Marines worked tirelessly, driven by their commitment to help. Their training and discipline were put to the test in the face of this natural disaster. The Marines launched a massive evacuation effort. They used helicopters and trucks to transport thousands of people to safety. They faced heavy ashfall, reducing visibility. The air was thick with volcanic debris. This made breathing difficult. Despite these challenges, the Marines persevered. They delivered food, water, and medical supplies to those in need. They cleared roads and debris. They worked alongside other military branches and civilian organizations. The Marines' actions during the Mount Pinatubo eruption were heroic. They saved countless lives, both American and Filipino. Their dedication and bravery left a lasting legacy. The eruption tested their skills and their humanity. They responded with courage and compassion. The events of 1991 serve as a reminder of the vital role the Marines play in times of crisis. They are always ready to answer the call to duty, no matter how dangerous the situation. Their actions at Mount Pinatubo stand as a testament to the best traditions of the United States Marine Corps.
Author Mark R Clifford here, and welcome to Subic Bay, Philippines. I'm here going through the steps of all the things that I wrote about in Typhoon Coast. Behind me is Grande Island, and right across from there is where I first saw the initial eruption of Mount Pinatubo, June 11, 1991. If you look up into the sky behind me, that's what I looked up and saw, a huge mushroom cloud. Mushroom cloud. So today, what my beautiful wife and camera person are doing is that we're gonna hop in a taxi and we're gonna go try to find where I stayed in Upper Mao and try to locate the Quonset hut where I rode out this epic storm, this volcanic eruption, the largest volcanic eruption of the century, along with a Typhoon Union coming through, a very apocalyptic experience. And I hope during this tour today, you're going to get a real good sense of what it must have been like June 15th, 1991, and that major eruption of Mount Pinatubo. And this series is going to end with me hiking to the top of Mount Pinatubo and sitting at the crater lake, a beautiful crater lake. Stay tuned. We're off with my new friend Gerald. Hey Gerald, how you doing?
Yes sir, I'm good.
All right, he's gonna take us on a big tour today.
Oh, here are the monkeys. Oh, there we go.
Okay, what you're looking at here isn't low-hanging fruit. Those are sleeping fruit bats. And I tell you what, at night when the sun goes down, those things will all of a sudden blacken out the sky. It's amazing. So we've had a great drive up here. It's a little bit in the elevated area, and it's, as you can see, these are the ruins. And interestingly enough, this was the headquarters to Upper Mao. So this is where I would come down during the eruption, and we get our briefs. So none of this was a huge base. Quonset huts as far as you can see. After the eruption, everything was gone and everything was buried. Everybody's been very polite with me. I was introduced as a Marine Corps veteran and they flagged us all the way through. So Beth and I will be going back into this area, but first let's take a look inside of here. Interestingly enough, all the other Quonset huts back there, none of them had air conditioning. They had these big fans. But in here is where the MAGTF commander was. This is where we meet to get our daily operations plan. And it was really air conditioned. And this is where we sat, got all of our briefs, talked about the issues we're having after the Pinatubo eruption, how we're going to get the base back up and working. And we had to get our air asset back. So I sat someplace in here. We had the lieutenant colonel that was in charge of the MAGTF, all the offices down that corridor. And I have to say it was in a little bit better shape then. So let's try to find my Quonset hut. So if you take a good look, there are a lot of them hidden in the jungle. We were the last people to be here. We never came back after that eruption. The bases were shortly thereafter abandoned. We just lived out our days here. Went back to my host unit in Okinawa. Something to see. Kind of emotional. It was a real man against nature story. And nature doesn't pick sides. Really took us out. So a lot of walking around. The jungle has reclaimed this base. So if you look around, my old Quonset hut is way back in those trees, never to be visited again without probably the largest piece of machinery to get us back there. So I want to take you on a tour through one that was exactly like ours. So you can imagine we lived in this one just like this, and this, after the eruption, was buried. The door was shut. So follow me in here. Watch your step. I stayed. Whoop.
Don't touch anything.
Pull something there. So that will make it in here.
Yeah, don't touch anything.
Oh. So this is where we stayed. I stayed right here. I was the staff sergeant in charge of 19 guys that was here. And when the volcano was erupting, it was complete darkness. We hunkered down in here with a bunch of water and a bunch of MREs, try to ride this thing out. Soon enough, the side areas right here, they collapsed under the weight of ash. The earth quaked the entire time. And halfway through this, to make matters worse, Typhoon Yunya came through and added additional weight to the ash. In the doorway where Beth is standing, the awning over it soon collapsed and we're being buried alive. And I just made peace with the universe right here, knowing that I probably would never see Beth again, never live the life that I thought was chosen to be. I thought I would be found like a Roman soldier in Pompeii thousands of years later. So if you can imagine just the sheer panic and distraughtness in the darkness with the earth quaking constantly, the uncertainty outside, the jungle defoliating, so it sounded like constant machine gun fire. It was deafening, and you knew you were being buried alive. So when we were done, my buddy, who I'm still friends with today, was sleeping underneath me, and he says, "Mark, I think it's over." Complete darkness, our batteries and our flashlights were dead, our chem lights were dead. Opened the door, and it was nothing but a wall of ash, hot ash. And then we commenced our way to digging ourselves out, singeing our fingers on the hot ash until we popped out at the top like prairie dogs to look around, and it was a desolation wilderness. The jungle had been entirely defoliated by the weight of the ash, and as far as the eye could see, it was just grayness. Interesting how powerful nature is. Look what that tree did to our railing. So back when we looked at the command center for the MAGTAF, the Marine Air Ground Task Force, one of the things we needed to do was to get our air asset back, our ACE, and to defend our base, Subic, against the National People's Army, who we would patrol against, or the communist faction. And so the group that I was with was a SOC group, Special Operations Capable. I was with 3MEF, SOTG, and we were learning all the skills to make us special operation battalions, what the Marine Corps was in at the time. We were kind of the trainers. So one of the things was we had to get our aircraft back in the air. And we had a couple of helicopters that we needed to get up, and they were in this big hangar behind me. And so I write this story. It's a bit of a side story. It doesn't really appear in Typhoon Coast, but it appeared in a military arts magazine, and it's by R Clifford, of course. It was called The Fuck It Bucket. And it also, I reposted it in Eddie versus the Volcano. And so what happened was we came out here to get the ash off the top of this so we could open up the doors and get the aircraft out. Well, it was determined initially also that it was an unsafe operation, that this big hangar was going to collapse. We were assault climbers. We knew how to climb any operation, very operational. So we went up there, we tied ourselves in, we were scooping the ash off of this to alleviate the weight, and guess what happened? You can actually see the opening, as determined and as predicted, the two of my climbers, they fell through. And you can imagine that was a very unforgiving fall for these young Marines, 70 to 80 feet against cement. It was very sad to see these two lifeless bodies. So you can take a good look up there. In the Marine Corps, mission comes before troop welfare. We were able to get the aircraft out in the end, and get them up in the air to secure the base so that we could save lives and restore the resources to extend to the Filipinos who live down along the boat. Hi, this is an important part of my book, in Typhoon Coast. This is where my main character, Trent McShane, and his pal Eddie, or also known as E, they spend a lot of their time. And so if you know anybody who is a military veteran in the Air Force and Marine Corps that's probably older than 50, they know about Magsaysay Boulevard. And it's right over that bridge right here. And here's the main gate. And it goes over a very famous river. And we're gonna go now for a little road trip down Magsaysay Boulevard. Oh, look at all the jeepneys still here, the yellow jeepneys of Magsaysay Boulevard. Such a familiar sight. Goodbye, Subic. Beth and I with our new friend Ferdy. He's going to be our driver for. Hello. Jordan, you say they only have two temperatures here?
Hot and very hot.
Hot and very hot. Today is a very hot day.
Yeah. You are in vacation now here in the Philippines.
We are.
And also, sir, ma'am, that's the wall of Intramuras.
Oh, that's the wall. Okay.
And also some food stall. Yeah, the Filipino food stall. And also that's the wall.
And KFC.
Yes. KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Welcome to the Manila Hotel, host to such famous Americans as Douglas MacArthur and Ernest Hemingway. Today is Philippine Day of Valor, and Beth and I celebrated it with a Philippine general at Clark Air Force Base, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Today's episode is titled Beautiful Disaster, and that is what the Filipinos refer to the eruption of Mount Pinatubo as, of which you will soon find out. One thing I want to mention is if you want to look up more information, it's Operation Fiery Vigil. It was an American, U.S. operation, the evacuation of Clark to Subic, and also the surrounding areas of Pinatubo once the scientists determined that the volcano was imminent, probably in April. So initial eruption, they thought it was okay, but let's be safe, and then June 15th, there it went. And without the courage and the decisiveness of the scientists combined with the commanders of Clark, they would have lost the entire base. They decided to evacuate and wait a couple days after that initial eruption. If they went back and people went back, we probably would have lost tens of thousands of people. So that was a real accolades to the military trusting the science that the volcanists weren't, they don't like predict earthquakes, but the evidence was convincing enough to do the evacuation. I'm admiring the ruins of the old movie theater here on Clark, and I come around to see this beautiful statue, and I come within 1 inch of this visitor before God stopped me. So, General, it's been a pleasure being here with your family and your lovely attendees. And the spider incident that just over there, that's the deadliest spider in the Philippines. Probably would have been the end of me if I kept on going.
It's good that you still have your survival instinct.
I do. Probably the bravest thing you ever saw. I'm gonna walk up to you like a Marine Staff Sergeant.
Okay. Okay.
So we make sure you get where you're safe. Sir, I'd like to thank you for hosting my wife and I today at your wonderful headquarters at base, sir.
Thank you.
Got it. It's 2 for 1 night. We'll start with the MacArthur cocktail, the Manila Hotel's signature drink. Cheers. All right, good morning. It's April 7th. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's jump off time for the Pinatubo trip. It's going to be around a 2.5 hour drive to the jump off point. And it's already kind of hot here. Well, it's about 5 o'clock. Looks like I'm the first one here. Well, let's see. What are these? Hi, say hi.
Hi. Hi.
What are you selling? You selling walking sticks?
Walking stick, baby.
It's very important. I already have. What are your names?
My name is May.
Your
My
name?
name is Bella. My name is Princess.
Your
My
name?
name is Jerry.
What's my name?
Name Karo. May ang May.
What's my name?
Sir.
Sir?
Sir.
Sir?
Sir.
Sir?
Sir.
And what are you selling?
Ano?
The sticks. Very important sticks.
Yeah. It's It's across the
Mount Pinatubo is very beautiful.
yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're off. Hey guys, we're gonna go hike up Pinatubo today. My little support group. We're going through the Lehars now. It's a bumpy ride, and the sun is coming up. It's a little dark, very dusty, but you can see the water buffaloes on the Lehars. Lots of water on this trip. And these guys just crashed out. Would have been a great Marines. Nope, they can sleep anywhere. This ride is bumpy as hell, but it's safer than driving in Manila. Look at these guys. Look what they're wearing. And I got my running shoes on, and they're smoking me. So
Thank you.
good morning. Good morning. That's a good metaphor of life. Life's a curvy trail, ups and downs. Don't plan on it being a straight path.
Yes.
All right. We got one more here, huh? Few more steps.
Huh?
Few more steps.
This side. Okay.
Oh my God, I'm gonna see it.
Hey,
Here it comes.
welcome.
Welcome. Been 30 plus years. There it is.
Okay, go straight to the crater.
I want to take a moment to thank this guy.
Picture?
Just like my Survivor t-shirt says, I was there and it sucked, but it's good to be back. A little bit of closure. typical Marine. Hemingway had the snows of Kilimanjaro. I have the ash of Pinatubo. So I gotta say, now that I made it, I feel like a little bit of an Oscar recipient that wasn't prepared to give a speech. First person I'd like to talk about is my family and friends who stuck by me for so much, especially Labor Day morning when I suffered my stroke. I never thought I would be able to do something like this again so independently when I was laying in ICU. So I want to thank my wife, my loving wife Beth, who couldn't make it today. She's enjoying our resort, but she's here in spirit. And I'd like to thank the Marine Corps for making this possible, for stationing me here during this epic eruption that led to my storytelling of Typhoon Coast. And this is what you've seen as the area where my hero Trent McShane is hiking to save Pinatubo from bursting, this crater lake, and killing people. It's based upon a treasure hunt. It's based upon the Golden Lily treasure, which is hidden someplace in these mountains. It's the billions and trillions of dollars of loot that was confiscated by the Japanese Imperial Army during World War II, just as the Germans did. But for some reason, it's a very little known fact. But they concealed their treasure in 100 what they call bonsai caves, somewhere here in the rugged mountains of Luzon. A lot of them were discovered, apparently, as a little conspiracy theory about by the United States during the war crimes during the surrender, and as part of the stipulation of the surrender, that they tell us where all the loot is, and we use it to pay off our war debt and rebuild Japan. I think the evidence stacks up for that. But the rumor is, in the island of Luzon, and this jungle nation of over 7,000 islands, that they didn't surrender all of the caves. So the people still look for them. So just remember, life is a treasure hunt. Seek and you will find.